Hey everyone, welcome to our video series Canal Days, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Bridges Throughout South Hadley, Massachusetts. I'm your host Carrie, here with my co-host, local historian and founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Como. As your personal tour guide, Robert will lead you through some of the most iconic sites and their legends of historic significance throughout New England's preeminent and pivotal state of Massachusetts. With his expert insights, every monument and memorial story comes to life. Afterwards, don't forget to check out his website, holyokecanaltour.org, to access the full Canal Days video and podcast series, and also check out his free in-person public tours he offers throughout Western Mass, and the 2025 schedule for these special events. You can also book personalized private tours for groups of all sizes, tailored to your interest. To discover all that and much more, remember to log on to holyokecanaltour.org. So, Robert, can you indicate the number of bridges among South Hadley and which would be categorized as the most prominent of them all?
All right, there's two enormous bridges in South Hadley going over the Connecticut River into Holyoke. That's the Muller Bridge from the 1950s and the County Bridge, now called the Vietnam Veteran Bridge, first made in the 1870s, but redone twice. Those are the two obvious ones. They're enormous. And probably the most prominent to most people would be the Vietnam Veteran Bridge, because the site towards the north is you get to see the Holyoke Dam, which when it was built was the widest dam in the world. And it's still a functional dam. So, there are other ones around South Hadley though. They're medium-sized ones and tiny ones. Anytime you go over a brook on the highway, you are crossing over a bridge. For instance, on Route 202, when you cross over Leaping Wells Brook, that reservoir and brook system, you're going right over a bridge, but you'll never know it because it's so well built with a grass berm, and the tunnel that carries the brook is very small. But you're going over a bridge, so keep that in mind when you go over the Newton Smith Brook or the Titus Brook. You're going over bridges. When you go over the Bachelor Brook or the Stony Brook, you might see the railings for a bridge, and underneath there is a bridge. More obvious at the Stony Brook, like Brunel's Marina area, on the juncture between Ferry Street and the continuation of the road. There's a more obvious bridge there going over the Stony Brook. So there's 10 brooks in South Hadley. There's lots of streets. You cross them, lots of little bridges. On a trip through South Hadley, you probably cross 10 of them without even thinking about it. Now there's another kind of bridge.
And can you characterize which would be classified as the pedestrian only?
Yes, there's a few of those around South Hadley too. Bridges you walk over and no one else can go over except a walker or a bike rider. And there's 3 dams and 3 reservoirs on the property of Monterey College, and to cross them you have 3 bridges. 2 of the bridges are pedestrian only. The one by Willits Hollowell and a much, much bigger one downstream from there. And you get gorgeous sights of that reservoir that's there. Very few people know that it's a reservoir, but of course you can see the dam right in place near the bridge. And there's other bridges are walk only in Butternbrook Park, 2 tiny ones on conservation lands around the area. Like there's probably 4 of them within Bachelor Brook, Stony Brook conservation land. And many other conservation land has these. And so there's lots of bridges around, and you hardly even notice it. You probably don't notice it when you're driving over the 2 biggest ones of all. And so we're on one of the big ones. And so we're on the Vietnam Veteran Bridge. Looking downwards, you can see fishermen fishing for shad. And you got a beautiful island in the distance through the haze. You can see the Holyoke Dam. And this is probably the most obvious of all of South Hadley's many bridges. In the other direction, you're going down towards the Willimantic falls, and there you have like boat put-in areas, and you have many are rapids to go around, but also a big meander. And we're looking at the Holyoke side where you have big turbines connected to the one side of Holyoke to him, and the other side you used to have many mills. But it's a gorgeous day out on the river. A lot of water because this month of June 2025 there's been lots of rain, and so the water, which usually slows down by now because there's no more April and May snow melt nor rainfall, spring rain, usually slows down, but it's very rapid today. This big island in the middle is an artificially made island for fishermen. Hardly anyone uses it anymore. But what a gorgeous sight. Okay, so as you visit as many of these bridges as you can in South Hadley, whether the pedestrian ones, whether the smaller ones going over Brook Street, you learn about their properties, and then these larger ones. Thank you very much.